Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name might be Isaiah and today I want to talk about something I learned in therapy because I had therapy today. I actually found out that apparently bipolar disorder, which I have, and autism, which I have been told that I have, can have very similar and often overlapping symptoms. So let's get into it, starting with what is bipolar disorder. Bipolar disorder is a sort of mood disorder that is characterized by periods of extreme happiness, overexcitement, and overjoy, followed by periods of extreme hopelessness, sadness, depression, that sort of thing. For some people, it is a constant cycle with extreme highs and extreme lows. And for other people like me, the extreme highs can be a little more hypomanic, meaning not quite as intense as the lows, but it still occurs in cycles. For me, I started noticing these cycles back in like June 2017, 2018, when my therapist at the time pointed out that I was spending money a little bit recklessly and I was exhibiting other signs of mania that I didn't know at the time, where I wasn't sleeping a lot. I was talking very quickly, changing topics very quickly. I couldn't focus on one thing very often because I would go back to a hyperfixation on, in this case, creating a terrarium. I had a lot of energy. I was starting a lot of new projects. I was restless, all of that sort of thing. And then, of course, my usual default is the depressive state where I have very little energy. I want to sleep a lot. I feel very hopeless about things. And so when I was talking to my new therapist today, I mentioned the fact that my mom had been told several times that I might be autistic, and that my mom used to chew me out because when I was in trouble, I'd have a very flat expression and a monotone voice. So she would constantly ask if I was high, to which I would say, no, I am not. She would threaten to drug test me, and I would be like, okay, do it. And she would never do it. But, so when I was talking to my therapist about this, she mentioned that a lot of the symptoms that come with autism, the hyperfixation, the disliking loud noises or crowds, that sort of thing, the hard to pick up social cues, that's actually also pretty common with anxiety and with bipolar, because I am an extremely anxious person. I have generalized anxiety disorder. And so when you have the anxiety stuff and then you have the hyperfixation that can come, especially through a manic episode, it can come across as autism. And I had mentioned that I had my doubts on if I was actually autistic or not, because the criteria of not, I didn't have any of the developmental delays that are pretty common with autism, which is why I've always been very reluctant to even self-diagnose myself. Then she also mentioned, because I brought up the flat affect and monotone, she had asked me about my father and how my mom would say that I wasn't emotional enough and my dad would say I was too emotional. So it's very likely that this is at least partially a trained response, and also because of the issues that I have reading people and making my own emotions more clear, I can't process it quickly enough. But I didn't know this about bipolar disorder, that it is actually fairly common with people who are bipolar to kind of struggle understanding other people's emotions. I've gotten better with it with like Briar and everything because I'm around them constantly, but when it comes to complete strangers or coworkers or stuff, I have an extremely hard time recognizing if someone is upset or happy or bored. I kind of just assume that anything that comes out of my mouth bores them, so I don't talk about it very much. I think that's part of why I'm so fascinated by the fact that people are watching my videos. I've hit 3,000 views recently, and that's really exciting for me. Um, and I'm at 36 followers, and I can't get over the fact that there's like 36 people that are willingly sub to see my dumb thumbnails come up, even if they don't click on them. It's a big deal to me. Um, yeah, so I thought I wanted to share. I ended up looking up to see what people are saying about bipolar and autism, and it turns out that while there may be some overlapping genetic expressions, that typically adults who are diagnosed as one or the other may not necessarily have both, and that there tends to be an over diagnosis of bipolar in adults with autism because they can't figure out how to express themselves in a way to not be misdiagnosed. But interestingly, there is a greater connection of people who are diagnosed as bipolar when they're young to also be autistic. So, I don't know. Just some fun facts. It's a short little video today because I've got 1,000 other things in my mind. I'm actively fighting a hyperfixation on Sphynx cats currently because there is that gut level of just buy the cat, it's going to be fine. Everything else will lay out how it needs to, just buy the cat. And the rest of me is like, no, what you need to do is go and start taking pictures of everything you need to sell and start packing. And I guess the final update, because this is just a little life update as well, Briar just got the car loan stuff figured out, so tomorrow we will hopefully be able to get the underwriting done for the mortgage and move forward on purchasing a house. I have been trying very hard not to hyperfixate on the house, and I feel like I'm about to start doing that again because at least it'll be hyper focusing on something that I cannot buy right now, because I could literally go to Facebook right now and ask this person who has a Sphynx cat for sale for fairly cheap if I can buy the cat. I do not need to buy the cat. We can get the cat after we get the house. But I really want to buy the cat. But that's going to be it from me today. I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Stay hydrated. Bye.